What is going on, everybody? Testing, testing. Can y'all hear me out there? Let me know in the chat if y'all can hear me. Making sure I'm not just talking and everything is on mute. Think we're good. Let's see what's going on before we get started. Okay. All right, so we're good. All right. Appreciate that. All right, so what's up with y'all? Hold on. Have y'all seen this dude Chris Jereza? He's been doing a lot of tech stuff, but he's been rapping like different artists. So he did one, I think, like 21 Savage. He did one like Future, not Future. No, I think it was Future. Let me double check. But anyway, he just did another one with sounding like Kendrick Lamar, and he looks like he's talking about what was that Kubernetes? Let's see. Yep. All right. So I'm gonna share this real quick, and then we'll get into it. Good evening. Good evening. Sounds good. I appreciate it. I know I got some. Of course, anytime I want to go live, everything want to go crazy. Now I got landscape. The neighbor got the landscapers outside. So anyway, just wanted to show this real quick. So this dude has been doing different rappers.
Start from the client app, generated cryptic packets. Terminal the SSL, we pass it to the back end. What? Simulate CTP, we don't need real-time transactions. Add a mem cache, or Redis memory caching. And that's how it goes. Summon like Nginx, balance the load, and passenger services hosting my code. I structure the data in columns and rows, dependent on the database that we chose. With index infused, minimizing IOs, and added partitions and stars when it grows. We auto scale resources, balance the nodes. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, Start from the client app, generated cryptic packets. Terminal the SSL, we pass it to the back end. What? Simulate CT. 36 hours in Miami with a big foul out. 21. If we got a password, better hash it with a salt. Obfuscate the payloads, put the keys inside a vault. Role-based access, heavy limits by default. My ops hit a rainbow table database assault. Big stepper, third-party OAuth service, call it team effort. Network segmentation, audit log in each sector. All the segments got AI anomaly detectors. A penetration testing while I simulate the pressure. Keeping data safe from a variety of vectors. DLS handshake when the data hit connectors. Sanitizing queries for the SQL code injectors. A zero trust architecture, call me the protector. Zero trust like it's Metro making hits. AES for audit data, we symmetrically encrypt. Now my IPS on auto like your body got a switch. If you pull up with a DDoS, I'ma come back with a stick. 21.
Yeah, so he does a lot of them. Let me see. What's
Yeah.
Nah, hold on. Let me do this one.
Models independent, but the interface has one. Ay, VM's gonna run. Ay, Kubernetes orchestrate containers, auto scale master spawn. Ay, gotta balance all of those in the front. Ay, Nginx or EOB distribute them as it come. TCP protocols applying checksums. Guys, we got you with store topics. Audit sub-process events within their own logic. EOK monitor with legacy, I can watch it. SQL databases put the columns in the rows in them. Replicating clusters with the read-only nodes in them. Bleeding on no SQL if I see me need some more. We got wide column document, keep value time I stores. How many data centers can I see before? Here 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 4. Horizontal scaling, our partitions get wider. Keep up with our growth, we ain't no designer.
Now, yeah, I don't know. He may be trying to get a deal, but it's clever. But the crazy part is most of the stuff that he's doing is actually fairly accurate. Like I noticed him when he started doing the I think it was a 21 Savage one, and then I saw the Baby Keem one. But but like I said, I like the creativity in it, and just again getting people to get the information a different way. So anyway, it has been a while since I think I've streamed. I did a little live stream on Instagram last week, like last Friday, just to kind of say hi. Been keeping my head down with building out the center, and just trying to get things going. You got to stay away from the Suge Knights. Yeah. Well, and look, if we're keeping it in a tech in the tech phrase, what would the Suge Knights be? What, any company that wants intellectual property? Who's the Suge Knight of the tech industry? That's actually a good question. Who's the Suge Knight of tech? So anyway, it's like I said, it's been a while since we've been on here. Nope, I want to show me underpay. Yeah, but I mean, well, all the companies are underpaying now these days with them laying people off and then taking on and then making them take cheaper jobs. I mean, we just saw it on the news where Google laid off hundreds of people because they're going to outsource it to other countries for less pay, and everybody's following suit. They're just the ones who just got caught publicly doing it right now. But whatever. Hey, you know what? Um, my prayers to everybody who's affected and been affected, that they get back on their feet. And I'll tell you what someone told me, uh how they're doing things, and they're trying to get back to underpaying people. At some point they're going to realize the error of their ways, and when they do, add 20% to your rate. But there's contracting opportunities. Again, there's freelancing. I've seen some people take on doing things as a service. Like I said, it's really crazy. I don't want to get into the particulars or the political realm with everything, but I just find it interesting that they're on one hand saying the economy is great and the job market is great and whatever, but there's clearly a massive dip in hiring, as well as uh, layoffs, and then there's a big rise in jobless claims. But again, not here for that. So yes, underpay would be one of the tactics. So underpay would be like the equivalent of uh, when artists don't get their rightful royalties or whatever. But what if there was a company, or I don't want to say any names because I don't want to piss it. I don't feel like pissing anybody off. At least not today. Yeah, hospitals suffering from data breaches. Dropbox just got hit with a massive breach. Um, yeah, people are getting breached. Cryptocurrency companies are still getting hit left and right, with what's left of them, I should say. Um, yeah, they're it's crazy, and like I said, they're trying to hire a lot of people who aren't qualified or aren't really experienced to take on some of these bigger roles, and just so they can avoid paying the type of money that people have been accustomed to getting paid the last few years. I mean, I've heard a couple times that people people have said to me a couple times, the problem is you're overqualified. And it was just like, what the does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, usually that's like, oh, you have all the experience we're looking for, but now it's actually penalizing people. But again, you deal with what you can, and like I said, I'm blessed that I'm still breathing, and I have, my other endeavors, my business, my teaching, and my teaching engagements and stuff like that. You know, it's been. I feel like it's been actually it's been an eye opening experience, and honestly, I feel like things happen for a reason. I think I with the it is giving me more time to focus more on things that I wanted to do. Like I said last year, I wanted to get into teaching, and now I found two teaching gigs that I took on. I've also had time to focus on the business and stuff like that. So, hey, you know what? It's things happen. So, all right. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to hop on here because, and yes, yeah, if y'all are watching, we are streaming live on Restream. So shout out to Restream. But we are streaming live on our Alpha Esports Technology channels for YouTube and Twitch, and we are also streaming on our Alpha Cybersecurity channels for YouTube and Twitch. And people are probably wondering, I keep sometimes, most of the time, I keep the cybersecurity stuff separate from the gaming and the esports stuff, but there's a reason why I did that on both. And if you can actually, and I'll go ahead and share my screen. That's definitely not the screen I wanted to share. And that's still not the screen I wanted to share. Let's fix that. Let's get out of here. Nope. You're still on the screen and you're still not the person I was looking for. Hey, what's going on? Who's that? Assad, what's up? Nothing. So like I said, I'm trying to get into this AWS training, but it doesn't seem to be cooperating with me. So anyway, so I got a notification the other day that said, hey, there we go. Let's do that. Says, your AWS is about to expire, and there's two options. You can go back and study and take the test again, which I don't mind. It's been a while since I've messed around with AWS. I've been kind of in Google Cloud a lot lately, but I found this one interesting because, again, we talk about different ways to teach people, and Google Cloud Quest, if I am not mistaken, is almost like a gamified way to teach. So I figured, what better way to show that than put it on both my channels, both my cybersecurity as well as my gaming channel. So that's what I'm gonna do. I got a small break in between my class schedules for the next couple weeks. So I figured, you know what, this will probably be a good opportunity to knock some of this stuff out and get some content, and again show some gaming, and then also just kind of catch up with y'all, man. I mean, I'm be honest, it's without doing InfoSec Unplugged and without doing the live streams, I kind of missed the pack. I kind of missed the crowd, miss talking to everybody and just hearing different points of views and just kind of, just chopping it up with people. So so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some AWS stuff. We're gonna do this Cloud Quest. Shout out to AWS for, again, realizing and recognizing that people train and learn differently, and building out this program in the form of a game. So that's what we're gonna do. I'll probably do a couple of lessons, and then maybe from there we go, maybe we do a little bit of gaming. I don't know. We'll see. Still got business things to do and emails to send out. So anyway, so for those of you who already have your AWS certification, they have this game for AWS Cloud Quest to recertify your cloud practitioner. I don't know if they have it if you're looking to get your own. I mean, if you're looking to get your certification for the first time, I don't know. This definitely wasn't around when I certified 2-3 years ago. But like I said, I think it's a cool initiative. I think it goes into some of the same things I've been doing with Haiku. Shout out to World of Haiku. Try Hack Me. All these platforms are doing gamified approaches to trainings, and I'm glad to see that AWS, which is a major player in the tech space right now, and with cloud is following suit. So yeah. So anyway, so the AWS Cloud Quest Recertified Cloud Practitioner allows you to renew your cloud practitioner certification for up to 3 years. So again, the cloud certification usually goes for three, and then after that, you have to kind of recertify. You either have to take another test, or you have to do. I know other certifications. You have to do other trainings, or you have to do. Gather your continuing education credits or continuing education unit, CEU, CPEs, whatever they call them. So anyway, so I'm assuming this will allow you to get those continuing education credits, and then we'll be able to jump into it. So it says to do this, you have to go to your browser, go to Skill Builder, which we already have set up. And then it says supported browsers, Chrome, Firefox, and Edge. Start game, go through the tutorial, map, and then it says recertify. And then you kind of go through this training. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get through this together now. So it says start now, and we will now share this tab so you can see it's loading up. And my dog just came down to join us, so we'll see what's going on with that in a second. All right, so it says you can also do Cloud Quest tournaments, create time-bound competitions with a leaderboard, and invite players. Go to XR device, tournament to begin, choose match. Actually, I might have to write that down and keep that in mind. It looks interesting, but I'm tired tied up with the CYSA. You know what? I thought about taking a look at the CYSA. So, again, behind the scenes, I'm looking to get re-up my Security Plus, and I was looking for something new. Like I said, I have to re-up my Security Plus. I have to re-up my GPen. I have to re-up my GWAP. And there's a couple certifications that I'm looking at. I still have to get my API security certification. I'm really interested. Hack the Box has a really good training range for their web application pen tester route. And then I was looking at CYSA, but I'm really trying to figure out, which ones I want to do and how I want to prioritize it. Because again, I'm kind of in between two worlds now. I'm in the cybersecurity world, and now I'm in the esports and gaming world too. So, I want to also see what makes sense for me. Obviously, anything that I'm going to do at this point, there's probably going to be an element where I'm going to want to teach it to other people. So, I'm just going to have to kind of do my research and my due diligence and check. How's the curriculum for the GPen? So when I took it, because I'm pretty sure it's probably changed by now, but when I took the GPen, it's really good. I can see why folks would consider the GPen an advanced certification. I like the pace of the course. I like the pace of the exam. So without breaking any type of NDAs, the exam has a combination of practical hands-on stuff as well as multiple choice testing. And like I said, there's they cover a lot of different elements, whether it's network pen testing, web app pen testing, or not. I'm sorry, GWAP is web app, but network pen testing, Active Directory. So they definitely I definitely enjoyed the GPen. GPen was, like I said, it was tough. Again, it being SANS, I'm pretty sure we all know SANS is notorious for having really expensive trainings, but I would say it's a really good training. If it's worth the almost $10,000 or whatever it is now, I'm gonna leave that to y'all. But it's a really good training. All right, cool. So go ahead and we'll start the game.
Welcome to the city.
Oh, it's got music and everything. Okay.
We are happy you decided to join our team. As a new member of our IT staff, you will solve city problems by building solutions using AWS.
Yeah, no, it's expensive though.
The cloud practitioner job role has been selected for you. Report to the city to begin.
All right, so it says we have to report to the city. So,
A day will help you get started.
hiya, Day. Hey, what's going on, Big Set? I'm. Thanks for tuning in. Why do pros not like INE? Let's let's peel back this onion for a second. No, that's the no. I want to focus on me. So man, look, I got to get this back. I got to get back to this before I Here we go. I got to get back to getting used to restream before I get back to streaming full time. Why do pros not like INE? I don't know if that's the case anymore. INE, I think there's a lot more to it than just the curriculum. There were some things in the past, and it left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. Um, INE's curriculum. I mean, I've seen some of the curriculum. I know some of the people who've made some of the curriculum. It's been pretty cool. I funny thing, I actually had applied to create curriculum and be an instructor for INE years ago, and I thought we had something in place, and then they ended up going with somebody else. And then that didn't work out. And then a couple of years later, they reached back out to me, but at that point, I had um, you know started focusing on other things. I don't know if it's that people don't like INE so much. 'Cause I think the EJPT, that's through INE, right? The EJPT is a pretty decent certification for entry level. I would say the EJPT is probably more respected in the community than some other entry level certifications. However, some of those entry level certifications have the prowess and have the popularity that they have because jobs require it, right? So, like for example, EC Council, right? EC Council gets a lot of crap, and what some of it is well deserved, right? Some of it is deserved. So I mean, EC councils had a lot of issues with their treatment of others and people's taking people's content and stuff like that. But as far as certifications go, the CEH, at least when I took it, how many years ago, CEH wasn't that hard of an exam. CEH to me felt like like a just a more advanced security plus exam that just focused a little bit more on penetration testing. And then you had exams like the EJPT, and then eventually CompTIA came out with the Pen Test Plus, and then even Heath at the Cyber Mentor came out with the PNPT, which I feel like is an amazing certification. And what they're doing and keeping the cost low is something that should be commended, regardless of what your opinions of whatever. I think what they're doing is great, and shout out and salute to them. But I think the reason why even with EC Council, even with all the issues that EC Councils had with their popularity, publicity, whatever it is you want to call it, they still have a foothold on the industry because a lot of jobs still require you to have your CEH, right? I think CEH is on the list for DoD 8570. So as long as the government is requiring you to have that and people want to get government jobs, that'll always be there. So I just think INE, they just kind of got caught up in the mix, especially when with their whole reorg and restructure, and they were having whatever issues they were having, and now they're just kind of on the way trying to build themselves back up. But like I said, they got a lot of competitors because the Pen Test Plus is a really good certification. Pen Test Plus is a really decent, I should say, a decent certification. EJ, again, not taking away from the EJPT, I think it's a pretty good cert as well. But you got the Pen Test Plus to compete with. You have the CEH to compete with for government stuff. You have the PNPT, which honestly is up there with the OSCP, if not better than the OSCP, right? Just, people have their own opinions. And then you have other certifications just kind of in the realm, right? So I don't know. Security Plus was about to expire. Cram study for Pen Test Plus barely passed. Hey, look, a pass is a pass. You know what? I remember when I first started in my career, I was like, oh, I want to ace these exams and stuff like that. Honestly, they don't care. They're not going to ask you your score. I mean, back in the OSCP days, it would be a flex to say, hey, I got 5 out of 5 machines, but no one's asking you no one's going to ask you, hey, so you passed, what was your score, right? All they care about is when they go to verify that you actually have obtained that certification, that when they put in that license number or that ID number, that it shows that you indeed passed and that you have a status. You're in good standing with the status. They're not going to look at you and say, hey, did you get a 750 or did you get a 1,000 or 1,200 or whatever the score threshold is for CompTIA. So congratulations and keep pushing. All right, so let's get back to where we're at. Y'all hear the music, but there we go. All right, so a day is going to help us get started, right? So we've been assigned as a cloud practitioner in the city, so that's what we're going to be doing here. There's a lot of blue team jobs out there, just depending on what you want to do. I know there's a lot of SOC roles. There's a lot of incident response and stuff like that. So definitely, go for it. Is that Akavici? What's going on? Thanks for joining the stream. By the way, again, wherever you're watching, it looks like we have a few people scattered across several channels, but Alpha Cybersecurity, Alpha Esports Technology, and then and then also both our Alpha Esports Tech and Alpha Cybersecurity channels, respectively, on Twitch. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more content like this. Click the bell for notifications, please. We're trying to get we're going to try to get the algorithm jumping back up again, get back to this, streaming more regularly and stuff like that. I want to make sure that we're up there, on everybody's top pages again, like we once were a couple years back. So let's see. Patriarchal Darwin. Sorry for, I want to offer okay. No, I don't need channel viewers, followers. I would rather the price is lower. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to pay for support. I mean, we'll occasionally do promotions and giveaways, but I'm not going to buy bots. Sorry. All right. So anyway, welcome to the cloud practitioner role. You'll be introduced to AWS services and you'll build solutions. Okay. Each solution you will build will solve a business problem in a city. Click the map points to explore it and hit start. All right. So move stuff around here. So it looks like there's a serverless island. And then this is Cloud Isle. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there are 12. There are 12 challenges, and we are here. Okay. So for Cloud Practitioner Cloud practitioners will build basic cloud solutions using AWS services. You will learn about AWS cloud concepts, common use cases, billing and pricing models, security concepts, and business impacts. Okay. So again, like I said, I've taken this exam. I've taken this exam a couple years ago. I think it was a great experience to go through and learn about AWS concepts. Just getting started. I think I did this one. I challenged myself and tried to get it done in about like a week or two. I think it was a week to take the course, and I did like a week of prep. And at the end of that week, I took the exam and passed. So I want to try to keep it the same way. Like I said, I don't have the time to try to knock it all out in a week. But you see, if you figure there's 12, I mean, like I said, I'll probably try to do, I'll probably try to get it done at least by the end of the month. That's my goal. All right, so let's go ahead and choose. We'll start with the essentials. So the city's web portal team wants a solution that will make their beach wave size prediction web page more reliable. So this one looks like we're going to focus on the Amazon S3 service. And it says you'll be able to identify characteristics of AWS cloud computing, identify core benefits of using AWS products and services, compare and contrast AWS cloud services to an on-prem infrastructure, and demonstrate how to host a static web page using Amazon S3. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and we'll just hit choose and load it up. So first, we're going to create our own style. So, and y'all, like I said, if y'all have any other questions while y'all are watching, please feel free, man. Like I said, we're gonna do this and catch up. Like I said, it's been a while. So you're a fourth year computer engineering student. You don't know where to start. Can I give you advice? My advice to you firstly would be to figure out what it is you want to do and why you want to do it. Right. If you want to get into development or engineering, then that's fine. If you want to get into if you want to be like, do cybersecurity, do some research on that as well, and figure out what it is, because you can't just say, hey, I want to get into cybersecurity and not really have an idea. Cybersecurity is a vast realm, and it requires a lot of time, dedication, and studying for whatever it is you're going to do. So that can, like I would be considered offensive security. I'm a pen tester and security researcher. So I focus a lot of my time on learning about vulnerabilities and attack vectors and things like that. And that takes up a lot of time. And then you have some folks who focus on the blue side, like how L-Style was talking about. They want to get in the blue side. So that's your SOC, your incident response, your digital forensics. And the funny thing is, some of them complement each other. I think especially as you start moving into the application space, you'll start hearing more about purple team. So that's red and blue teaming. I actually really enjoy digital forensics. And when I wanted to take I actually did pen testing for a couple of years, and then I decided I wanted to switch to digital forensics. But when I lived in the Northeast, you had to be in law enforcement, and I wasn't going to, go back to training for, like to become a cop or FBI or anything like that. And then, but I feel like that also made me a better pen tester, a better hacker, because it gave me an insight into how digital forensics professionals perform what they have to do to try to find what I'm doing if there's a breach. So anyway, just do your research into the different things before you start investing time and money. Find a few topics that are interesting to you. YouTube is free. Google is free. You don't have to spend any money. You can do exactly like you're doing here. Just ask some folks. So, like I said, so good luck with your, in your computer engineering. But like I said, start asking questions, start asking around, like see what interests you. Like I said, there might be elements, you might want to jump into cloud. You might look into AI, right? Everybody talks about AI is going to take a lot of jobs, and AI will phase out some jobs, but just like how they thought cloud was going to take a lot of jobs, what's going to end up happening is if you can put yourself in between the technology and the need, you can set yourself up for success. So what do I mean by that? If you can understand certain elements of AI to be able to not only implement it or build it, but also to troubleshoot and fix it, you'll you'll be in high demand. So just keep that in mind. Okay, learning cloud technology made me revisit cybersecurity. Cloud security was the goal. However, cybersecurity is such an exciting subject that I ended up all over the domains. No, for real, big set. And like I said, for me, cloud AI, web app, mobile app, APIs, cars, drones, that all falls to me. That all falls into the realm of application security. And I know if I ever get back into like full-time pen testing or full-time cybersecurity, the goal is to have the center successful enough where I can just kind of teach it and do what I want to do on the side as a researcher or a bug bounty or whatever. But if I, for some reason, decide I have to, make the decision to go back full-time, I definitely want to be in that space. I want to be in that application security space. I think it's an exciting space to be in, and it's an exciting time. Like I said, you have cloud, AI, like I said, cars, everything is going to be everything is web-based or some type of technology in there that's just an exciting thing. Like they're communicating with APIs, they're communicating with other services. So that's all. That's where I want to be if I ever get back into it full time. Do you think AI will ever be engineered to fully eliminate false positives? I don't think you can fully get rid of false positives, because sometimes false positives is human error. So you'll never fully get rid of false positives. I think AI will be engineered to. I think AI, it will be just like how AI is being used in cybersecurity now. AI is going to be a great ally and a great assistant. I don't think we'll get to the point of Skynet, at least not in this lifetime. Terminator reference, but I think AI, like I said, I think AI will be a great ally and a great addition to the arsenal. AI is going to make things way more efficient, but it's not going to fully eliminate anything. Right? There's still flaws in AI. If you've ever asked AI to write a script for you, like a programming script, it's not perfect. So what I tell people all the time is, if you're going to use it, make sure you understand what it is you're working on, right? Like don't ask AI to write you a Python script if you don't know if you don't know the understanding, right? Don't, like, otherwise how will you QA test it? How will you double check it? Skynet is around the corner. It is, but like I said, I don't think it's going to be perfected in this lifetime. Maybe my grandkids. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I could be wrong. I mean, you got open AI and all of that. They talking about, there's going to be $1 trillion industry. So you never know. You never know. I think what's going to eventually be the downfall, if we stay on that path, is everybody, and it's a societal thing. It's not even just a tech thing. Too many people are racing to be first, and not enough people are racing to be correct. If you look from social media to, the news, right? And again, I'm not whatever. I think everybody's racing to be first. So everybody's racing to be like, oh, I was the first one here. I was the first one with this technology. I was the first one to do this and do that. And nobody's checking not only if it's right, if it's the moral thing to do, right? No one, not too many people are really checking that. So that's going that's going to be the downfall, and that's where I see something like a Skynet happening, because you'll have people who are racing. You'll have Microsoft racing, Amazon racing, Google racing, Elon Musk racing. You know what I'm saying? Whoever, and in doing that, they're going to f stuff up tremendously. That's my fear. That so many people are going to race to be. So many people are going to race to be right. I'm first. That they're not. They're not going to stop and think if it's correct or if it's right. Like, not just technically, but morally. That's my fear. All right. So let's see. We got our avatar suited and booted. I'm a CEO now, so I gotta dress the part. All right. All right, so now we are on Cloud Isle, and like I said, we are suited and booted. You got to dress for success. So the smartphone icon is my new device. It contains assignments from citizens that need my help. Your first assignment has arrived. Wait, watch out. I'm trying to figure out why is there a... Skipping over due diligence will be a major mistake. I 100% agree with you. Strange. Mrs. Gorilla usually wears a hat. Anyway, go click to your XR device. Okay. Route and go. What's going on, brother? All right. Hello, I'm Mayor Jack. Welcome to the city. It's a pleasure to meet you. Okay. Nice to meet you. I'm happy to join the team. How can I help you? We power most of the city's technical infrastructure through our data center, but it takes months to procure and configure data center resources. That's a common problem when provisioning your own infrastructure. Give me a specific example. Well, for one, island residents use the city's web portal to view current wave size predictions at the beach. Surfers check for big waves, for example, and families check for smaller waves for safety. The servers that deliver these wave size projections give us constant problems. We struggle to keep them up and running. Have you considered using an AWS cloud infrastructure? Your servers and other resources can be significantly more reliable, agile, and resilient. Interesting. I've heard a lot about the cloud, but I'm not sure I understand the whole concept. Okay, so cloud computing on AWS provides access to technology servers such as compute power, storage, and databases. Resources are available on demand, and you pay only for what you use. You can choose from hundreds of AWS services to help build your solutions. So I will say this from the cloud standpoint, what makes the cloud really great is the scalability, and it allows you to build up when you need to and scale back when needed, right? So it saves you money. If you think back to when you had to buy servers for everything, you'd have to buy the server, build the server, configure the server, set the server up on the rest of the network to communicate with the rest of the network. But then let's say you did that during your busy season, and then all of a sudden you had downtime, like a down season, right? So for example, my wife does cakes. We know, like right now is her busy season. So her, we got weddings, proms, graduations, birthday parties, just summer gatherings, whatever. So this is the busy season, and then we know it kind of drops off a little bit in the fall, and then it picks back up right before the holidays, and then sometimes it's feast or famine, depending on the holiday season. Sometimes it might be busy all holiday season, but most times it drops off after Thanksgiving. So we would, if we had a situation like that where we had like on-prem infrastructure, we would be spending that money. We would be spending that money to use all that stuff, and then during the down seasons we wouldn't. It would be a waste. But with something like cloud, whether it's AWS or whatever other platform, you can use it and then tear it down on the spot. And like I said, save you some money. All right, so enough for that. Okay, Google needs to increase the music department budget. Needs a little bit of an upgrade. Well, this is AWS. Now, if you want to talk about music and arts in school, yeah, I think they should definitely do that. All right, so how can I improve my agility? How many days does it take to bring a server on? Okay, so this is what we were talking about, what I was just talking about with the scalability. You can deploy resources such as servers in minutes and at a fraction of the cost of traditional resources. Flexibility, you can transfer in your operations. Okay, well, if it's really that fast, I have a beach web page that I need to quickly get back online. We also want the entire website to be more resilient to hardware failures. Does your Beach Wave web page include any scripts that must run on the web server? These are known as server-side scripts. Yeah, exactly, Shmo. If your website doesn't run server-side scripts, it's a static website. Let me check notes from IT. Yes, it says here that the website is static. Does that help? Yes, because you're running a static website, you can migrate your web page to an Amazon S3 bucket and use the static website hosting feature. This move to Amazon S3 will get you back up and running quickly and make your site more resistant to failure. We can start by creating an S3 bucket to hold your web page content. Now, here's the thing with S3 buckets. Just from a cybersecurity standpoint, S3 buckets, people are always misconfiguring S3 buckets, and they are not. And because they're misconfiguring them, they're not making them secure, leaving them available to be accessed by the public. If you know the right scripts or the right commands, it's almost like a SQL injection type attack. But like when I used to work in the crypto space, all the cloud backed services, if they were using S3 buckets, we were. It was always like a win for us. Can you start now? City residents are avoiding the beach because okay. All right, so I guess we have to make a static web page. So I think it's gonna walk us through the process.
Welcome to the Solution Center. Here, you will learn about AWS services and receive guidance on how to build AWS solutions for common use cases. The Solution Center has 4 sections: Learn, Plan, Practice, and Do It Yourself, DIY. This is the Learn section. Use it to study the architecture and watch AWS service videos. Use the arrow buttons to step through the architecture diagram.
Okay. All right. So migrate an existing website to a static website. Migrate an existing website to a static website hosting on S3 to improve reliability. So we have the video concepts for AWS, way AWS will architect it, and then Amazon S3. So let's go ahead and click that, see what it says. So AWS
Global Infrastructure Overview. The AWS Global Infrastructure delivers a cloud infrastructure companies can depend on, no matter their size, changing needs, or challenges. It is designed and built to deliver the most flexible, reliable, scalable, and secure cloud computing environment, with the highest quality global network performance available today. AWS provides the most extensive global footprint to ensure your worldwide customers are served. You can rapidly expand operations to virtually any region or country. AWS now spans 69 availability zones within 22 geographic regions around the world. The footprint is expanding continuously, with plans for 13 more availability zones, and 4 more AWS regions in Indonesia, Italy, South Africa, and Spain. This fast-paced expansion of region is also paired with Amazon's long-term commitment to a sustained future using renewable energy sources.
So
the AWS global infrastructure consists of the following main components. Amazon Cloud Computing resources are hosted in multiple worldwide locations, referred as AWS regions. Each AWS region is a separate geographic area and has multiple, isolated locations known as availability zones. A AWS region has at least 2 availability zones, most have 3, including all new regions, and several have as many as 6. They are fully isolated and are many kilometers apart from each other for complete redundancy.
So
Each
basically,
availability
to
zone
avoid any
consists of
type
one or
of
more discrete data centers, typically 3, and at full scale
downtime
can
or,
be hundreds
or
of thousands
cyber
of
attacks
servers.
like DDoS.
To ensure maximum reliability, each data center has redundant power, dedicated metro fiber connectivity, and housed in separate facilities. Network. Every data center, AZ and AWS region is interconnected via a purpose-built, highly available, and low-latency private global network infrastructure. The network is built on a global, fully redundant, parallel 100 gigabit Ethernet metro fiber network. Points of presence. With Amazon CloudFront, AWS operates the largest global content delivery network, CDN, of any cloud provider. It enables customers to securely deliver customers' data content to end users with lower latency and high transfer speeds through a worldwide network of global points of presence, POP, locations, which consists of edge locations and regional edge cache servers. Availability zones make partitioning applications as easy as it can be. If an application is partitioned across availability zones, companies are better protected from natural disasters, such as lightning strikes, tornadoes, earthquake, and more. In this example, you can deploy your application across 3 availability zones, and a load balancer is used to distribute traffic across them. If one availability zone experiences an outage, traffic is routed to other availability zone. Customer application is still up and running.
Okay. So it said. So I just saw L Style. You had a question. I'm gonna screenshot that. It says during reconnaissance, during engagement, can you tell if you're interacting with a honeypot? Yes and no. You have to kind of look when dealing with honeypots. You're kind of looking for strange behavior, right? So when you're messing when if you're looking if you're in a system, you could check for certain things like the IP addresses, right? If you scan any type of IP addresses, there's some you could check that way. You could check if like I said, if it's just acting strange outside of the rest of the network that you've messed with so far. So again, it's just more of a trying to pay attention to what it is what I'm saying, that what you're working on. You can trying to think, like, if like sometimes it could be too good to be true, but like you're in an environment, it's like, oh my gosh, there's all this room and all these possibilities. And then let's say you mess around with it, but it doesn't interact in a way that you are familiar with, right? So like, let's say if there's a GameStop shares jump up. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So like, if you're looking at stuff and you see vulnerabilities that and you're familiar with, but then when you go try to do whatever techniques or attack vectors that are known with those vulnerabilities, and you're not getting the right results. I shouldn't say right results, but again, it's just looking for abnormalities. That's the best way to put it. Is that there may be like some it just might be acting.
AWS Global Infrastructure Benefits.
Sorry, it might be
Here
acting
are the
in a
benefits of the
strange manner.
AWS Global Infrastructure. Performance. AWS Global Infrastructure ensures high quality and uninterrupted performance. It offers customers a high-performing, low-latency, highly scalable, high availability, secure cloud infrastructure and responds to changing needs fast without any drop in performance. AWS provides customers with the highest levels of availability and reliability. AWS availability zones are designed for physical redundancy and provide resilience, enabling uninterrupted performance with no single points of failure. Every component of the AWS infrastructure is designed and built for redundancy and reliability, from regions to networking links to load balancers to routers and firmware. In addition, the AWS global infrastructure is built on Amazon's own custom hardware, such as custom purpose-built compute servers, load balancers, routers, and silicon. AWS optimizes this hardware for only one set of requirements: workloads run by AWS customers. By using custom hardware, AWS provides customers with the highest levels of reliability, the fastest pace of innovation, all at the lowest possible cost. Security. Our core infrastructure is designed to meet the most stringent security requirements in the world and is built to satisfy the security requirements for military, global banks, and other high-sensitivity organizations. Our infrastructure is monitored 24/7 to help ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of our customers' data. Scalability. The AWS global infrastructure enables companies to be extremely flexible and take advantage of the conceptually infinite scalability of the cloud. Customers can provision the amount of resources that they actually need, knowing they can instantly scale up or down along with the needs of their business. Companies can quickly spin up resources as they need them, deploying hundreds or even thousands of servers in minutes. Low cost. With the industry's most extensive data center footprint, the AWS global infrastructure enables more customers to benefit from cloud economics of scale and reduce the total cost of ownership, TCO, of their overall IT infrastructure.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to AWS Well Architected Overview. AWS Well Architected helps cloud architects design infrastructure that is built around 6 pillars: operational excellence, security, reliability, performance efficiency, cost optimization, and sustainability. The AWS Well Architected framework includes hands-on labs, access to the AWS Well Architected Partner Program, and the AWS Well Architected tool, which architects can use to evaluate workloads, identify high-risk issues, and record improvements. Let us take a closer look at the 6 pillars that define an AWS well-architected design.
For those just joining,
The operational
we're just kind of
excellence pillar
going through this
focuses on running and
simplified
monitoring
training for
systems and
AWS.
continually improving processes and procedures.
Hold on.
The security pillar focuses on protecting information and systems.
Yeah, I'm sorry, real quick. So for those who are just tuning in, thanks for joining. We are streaming live on Restream on several channels, including our Alpha Cybersecurity and Alpha Esports and Technology pages on YouTube, as well as Twitch. And I think we're also on Facebook as well. And we are just doing some AWS training. They have like this gamified approach, which I think is really cool, because that's something that we've been, focusing on like the last 6 to 8 months, actually probably longer than that, with different platforms. So we have with like Haiku and other programs. So figured we'd take some time to do that. And while I'm going through this training, could also do some Q&A. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask away. Like I said, we've been kind of talking back and forth. We had a conversation about AI. We were talking about the gentleman who has the Instagram page who raps about technology topics, like other rappers. So just kind of give you a quick recap. So again, if you have any questions for me, just leave them in the comments. Also, be sure wherever it is you're watching to be sure to like the page, subscribe to the channel. If you're on the Alpha Cybersecurity page, you can go ahead and leave like a super chat or whatever you want to do if you want to get that noticed as well. We appreciate any type of support. And also, like I said, just subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications, because we definitely want to keep this going. My goal is to kind of get this done through the end of the month and get back to a regular streaming schedule. Like I said, it's been crazy building out. If you know what I've been doing the last about year and a half, I built a gaming and technology center here in my town where I live, and we've been focusing on partnering with the gaming and esports community on a ton of different things. Obviously esports, the esports ecosystem, the gaming communities, tournaments, as well as training and development for tech and cybersecurity careers, as well as careers in the gaming industry, not just playing the video games, but developing games, doing the artwork, shoutcasting or doing the broadcasting, writing scripts. So we're heavily engulfed in the community, and that's kind of what I've been working on. But like I said, I want to get back to building out content and doing stuff here as well. Leading into the fall, where we're going to get into a lot more technical stuff, including some technical classes and cohorts that we'll be offering in person as well as online. So again, thank you for joining. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to wherever it is you're watching. And let me know what you think in the comments. All right.
The reliability pillar focuses on ensuring workloads perform their assigned functions and recovering quickly from any failure to meet demands. The performance efficiency pillar focuses on selecting suitable resource types and sizes, monitoring performance, and maintaining efficiency. The cost optimization pillar focuses on understanding spending trends, controlling fund allocation, and scaling to meet business needs without overspending. The sustainability pillar focuses on minimizing the environmental impact of running your cloud workloads, such as energy consumption and resource use. How does the AWS well-architected tool help create a well-architected infrastructure? The AWS well-architected tool extends the well-architected functionality, best practices, measurements, and learnings into your existing architecture processes, applications, and workflows. It creates custom lenses, where you can add best practices pillars and questions based on what's most important to your organization. Using the tool, you can share your workloads and custom lenses with up to 300 individual AWS identity and access management, or IAM, users or accounts, or across an entire organization. Reviewing your workload against sustainability best practices in the AWS well-architected tool can help you understand energy consumption and environmental impact. The AWS well-architected tool is available in the AWS GovCloud region of the US, so customers with specific regulatory and compliance requirements can conduct self-service public sector reviews. You can learn more about the AWS well-architected tool and custom lenses by visiting the AWS well-architected website.
See, this is interesting. Now, people talk about a lot of people talk about why do you have to recertify exams, right? Some people think it's a money grab. Some people think it's logical, and then there's people who are in between. And I can understand both sides, because there are some certifications out there that are definitely just a money grab, and they do that to make sure that whatever. But stuff like this is a good example of why they should recertify every 3 or 4 years. I don't believe there was an AWS well architected overview type thing, or AWS well architected plan when I took the exam, like I said, 3, maybe 4 years ago now. And these are new things that are definitely helpful. That would be helpful to learn, especially if you're going to get into cloud. Like I said, when we were talking about S3 a second ago, so a lot of times people are just, they were rushing to be first, and they didn't configure things properly. I think something like this AWS well architected tool would be helpful, because you go into things with different trainings and best practices, and look and have a communication with other users and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool. And whatever, if Google or Microsoft has an equivalent,
Amazon S3 overview.
I think
Amazon Simple Storage Service.
I think that's smart to have, because again, you want to make sure your stuff is secure. So just from a security standpoint, I think that was a good addition to what they have here.
Amazon S3 is an object storage service. An object consists of data and metadata. The metadata is a set of name-value pairs that describe the object. Buckets are containers for objects stored in S3. An object is uniquely identified within a bucket by a key. The object named photo/puppy.jpg is stored in the John Smith bucket, and it is addressable using this URL. http://johnsmith.s3.region.amazonaws.com/photos/puppy.jpg. Amazon S3 offers industry-leading scalability, data availability, security and performance. Customers of all sizes and industries can use it to store and protect any amount of data for a range of use cases, such as websites, mobile applications, backup and restore, archive, enterprise applications, IoT devices and big data analytics. Amazon S3 offers industry-leading performance, scalability, availability, and durability. It can easily meet fluctuating demands by automatically scaling your storage resources up and down without upfront investments or resource procurement cycles. Amazon S3 is designed for 11 nines of data durability because it automatically creates and stores copies of all S3 objects across multiple systems. This means your data is available when needed and protected against failures, errors, and threats. Amazon S3 also offers unmatched security, compliance, and audit capabilities. It secures your data from unauthorized access with encryption features and access management tools. S3 is the only object storage service that allows you to block public access to all of your objects at the bucket or the account level with S3 Block Public Access. You should enable block public access for all accounts and buckets that you do not want publicly accessible.
You should.
S3 maintains compliance programs such as PCI DSS, HIPAA High-Tech, FedRAMP, EU Data Protection Directive and FISMA to help you meet regulatory requirements. AWS also supports numerous auditing capabilities to monitor access requests to your S3 resources. Amazon S3 is the most supported cloud storage service. You can choose to work with a partner from the AWS Partner Network (APN), which is the largest community of technology and consulting cloud services providers. The migration partners can help you to transfer data to Amazon S3. The storage partners offer S3 integrated solutions for primary storage, backup and restore, archive and disaster recovery. You can also purchase an AWS integrated solution directly from the AWS Marketplace, which lists over 250 storage-specific offerings.
So, again, if you saw that previous slide about the public access, that's what I was talking about when I said things need to be. You need to make sure that things are configured properly, because if not, and those aren't and those aren't configured properly, you run into all types of issues, right? So I want to say the Capital One breach was an S3 bucket, right? Yep. Okay. So we'll just go here. So I'll just share this one real quick. So if you look here, so Capital One attacker exploited misconfigured AWS database. So if you remember from back in 2019, the Capital One data breach, the consultant was arrested. I think, they said she was facing 20 years in prison, but basically she found a misconfigured AWS service, and I believe it was an AWS S3 bucket that allowed her to gain access to how many 100 million people. So I mean, there's obviously details in that, but the main focal point was that it was definitely it was a misconfigured S3 bucket. If you look here, we'll share this one. Here's another one. So 10 worst Amazon S3 breaches. This was back from 2018, so I'm pretty sure this was before Capital One. So I'm pretty sure the Capital One breach would have been on here. But back in 2018, said 7% of S3 servers are completely publicly accessible without any authentication. I will say that that number is probably higher now, again, just because people are racing to just kind of throw stuff up there, and they're not, sometimes they're not configuring things properly. Like I said, I worked for uh, a cryptocurrency company, and we were able to access a lot of the records of their coin holders that was sitting in an S3 bucket. But if you look here, Booz Allen Hamilton. There was information that was found from an S3 bucket. Voter records in 2017, 198 million American voters. PII for 2.2 million from Dow Jones. WWE for my wrestling fans, 3 million wrestling fans. Verizon Wireless, 6 million, and that was this one. Verizon and T-Mobile have quite a few breaches, not just for S3 buckets, but just in general. Time Warner Cable, 4 million customers. Pentagon, 3 leaks that were found in September and November of some, well, it was DOD. So I'll just imagine. Accenture, AWS key management, plain text customer databases, API data, so API keys. So this was another one. National Credit Federation, 111 gigabytes of financial information. Alteryx, 123 million American households, personal information of 123 million households, not people, 123 people, households. So again, you figure the average household number is 4. So if you do 123 households, so if you do 123 times 4, right? If 4 is the average, right? Because it's usually 2 parents, 2 children. 492 million. It's almost a half a billion people. But those numbers, everyone's in. Oh yeah, big set, of course. That's the crazy part is between financial records, HIPAA records. I mean, there's always a breach, right? Some of them just don't get reported because there's certain thresholds that they have before they have to make it public, right? But if you notice, I mean, every time you turn around, you're getting some type of postcard in the mail that says that you're a part of a class action lawsuit because of some type of privacy issue, right? Or you'll get some type of letter in the mail that says, "Hey, there was a breach. Your information may or may not have been affected, but just in case, we're going to give you, 2 years of free identity monitoring service." Like at this point, between the government and my financial institutions and cell phone stuff, I should have like a lifetime supply of freaking identity monitoring or credit monitoring, right? Because the OPM hack, Office of Personnel Management, from all those years ago, AT&T, all the hospitals and medical facilities that are getting hit, Verizon, T-Mobile, Verizon, Capital One, there's so many of them. So, yeah. So anyway, where are we? So S3. So again, that's why I said it's important. These things are great, but they have to be configured properly. And sometimes it takes, that's why you need to have qualified people. And I'll be honest with you, make sure you get trained up, because in this economy, how things are going, they're gonna try to find all the cheap work, and they're gonna need people to fix this crap. So lifetime subscription for every person in the house. Yeah, absolutely.
The overview. Amazon Simple Storage Service, Amazon S3 is an object storage service. An object consists of data and metadata. The metadata is a set of name-value pairs that describe the object. Buckets are containers for objects stored in S3. An object is uniquely identified within a bucket by a key. The object named photo/puppy.jpg is stored in the John Smith bucket.
Oh, did we? I think we watched this one already.
And it is addressable using this URL.
Yeah, we did.
Amazon S3, more features. Amazon S3 also provides a wide range of storage classes. S3 Standard, S3 Intelligent Tiering, S3 Standard Infrequent Access, or IA, S3 One Zone Infrequent Access, or S3 One Zone IA. In the 3 Amazon S3 Glacier storage classes, each S3 storage class supports a specific data access level. S3 Standard is for general-purpose storage of frequently accessed data. It delivers low latency and high throughput, and can access data in milliseconds. S3 Intelligent Tiering is for data with unknown or changing access patterns. It automatically moves your data between a frequent access and an infrequent access tier based on changing access patterns, without performance impact or operational overhead. S3 Standard IA and S3 One Zone IA are for long-lived but less frequently accessed data. Since S3 One Zone Infrequent Access only stores data in one availability zone, it fits best for data that can be recreated. S3 Glacier storage classes are for long-term archive and digital preservation. S3 Intelligent Tiering, S3 Standard IA and S3 One Zone IA also have the same low latency and high throughput performance as S3 Standard. S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval storage class delivers the lowest cost storage with milliseconds retrieval. It is designed for archive data that needs immediate access. For archive data that does not require immediate access, choose S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval, with retrieval in minutes, or free bulk retrievals in 5 to 12 hours. To save even more on long-lived archive storage, choose S3 Glacier Deep Archive, the lowest cost storage, with data retrieval from 12 to 48 hours. With a wide range of storage classes offered by S3, you can choose which ones best fits your data profile and use cases. To classify, manage and report on your data, Amazon S with a wide range of storage.
So just a quick rundown. Ty, I'm actually doing I was given an option to take this like gamified approach to recertifying one of my Amazon certifications that's soon to expire. So I figured, why not show it, since I've kind of been showing gamified trainings for like the last year or so with the haiku and trihackney stuff. So this is AWS Cloud Quest. So I don't know if they offer it for people who are getting their certification for the first time, but it was made available to me as an option to recertify. So I figured I would do that, and also just kind of give some input for people who may or may not be interested in taking the AWS stuff, since I got some time in between my trainings right now. Like one of my classes is doing something else, so I kind of have a little teacher break for a little bit. So the storage classes. So think of your storage classes as like your hard drive or your hard drive memory. So your S3 Standard, this is like stuff that you access daily, right? So this is stuff that might, again, you think things that you access, documents, whatever, things that you may work on daily. If you're a gamer, think of this as the game that you're playing right now, right? Then you have some other stuff that's intelligent tiering. So it might be some stuff that you play with or that you use immediately, and then some stuff that maybe you don't. And then as you progress down, this is stuff that you have access that you need saved, but maybe don't play or access on a regular basis, right? So now as you get to here, this is stuff that, you might check occasionally, right? Not necessarily all the time, not as frequent, but occasionally, right? This is something that's, less than occasionally, right? So this might be old, pictures and videos from like the last year, right? And then this might be, other data, pictures and videos from even further back. And then this stuff back here, the Glacier Deep Archive, this is stuff that you don't need really, but you want to keep, right? And you never, and you might need to access it again at some point for people who, take pictures of everything. Think of this like, oh, this is like, this is where you have pictures of like, baby's first steps, or, when you first got whatever, right? And now, you keep it because it's a memory that you love and enjoy, but you might not need to access it every day like here. So now think of this like you have a external hard drive or a network storage device that you stored the data on now is just kind of off in a folder. And every once in a while, you'll go back and check it and make sure that it's good and make sure that it's not been corrupted or like, somehow accidentally wiped. But you don't need to see it every day. This is so from left to right. This is stuff that you would probably use, minute by minute. This is stuff that you probably use daily, daily, every other day. This is stuff you might use weekly. This is stuff you might use monthly. This is stuff you might check like, every 6 months. This is stuff you might check every year. And then this is stuff that you might check, every few years, right? Just trying to give you an example. But then on the flip side to that, for the longer or the deeper the level of storage, the quicker, the longer it takes to retrieve it, right? So, again, stuff that you use on a frequent basis, you're going to have access to within milliseconds. The same thing here. You might have stuff you'll be able to retrieve it fairly quickly. This stuff might take a little bit longer than this. This stuff might take a little bit long, I'm saying? And it gets longer and longer. And then when you get to the Glacier Flexible and the Glacier Deep Archive, now it's going to take hours or maybe even days to get, right? So think of it like, hey, I need to request access to this. And they're like, okay, it's going to just give us some time to, pull it from storage and get it to you. So that's how S3 does their storage.
Storage class is offered by S3. You can choose which ones best fits your data profile and use cases. To classify, manage and report on your data, Amazon S3 also provides easy-to-use management tools for granular data control. You can use S3 storage class analysis to discover data that should move to a lower-cost storage class based on access patterns. Then you can use this information to configure an S3 lifecycle policy that makes the data transfer. S3 lifecycle policy defines when objects transition to another storage class and when objects expire. It helps to manage your objects so that they are stored cost-effectively throughout their life cycle. In addition, you can use S3 cross-region replication to replicate data into other AWS regions. You can also replicate data within the same AWS region. S3 Object Lock. Objects are locked for the duration of the retention period that you define and are protected from deletion. You can enforce, write once, read many policies with S3 Object Lock. S3 Inventory Report lists your stored objects, their metadata and encryption status. You can also use S3 batch operations to change object properties and perform storage management tasks for billions of objects. With S3 batch operations and a single S3 API request, or a few clicks in the Amazon S3 Management Console, you can perform batch operations such as copy objects between buckets, replace object tag sets, modify access controls and restore archived objects from Amazon S3 Glacier. Since Amazon S3 works with AWS Lambda, you can log activities, define alerts and automate workflows without managing additional infrastructure. With Query and Play services, you can run big data analytics directly across your S3 objects and other data sets in AWS. This means you can run big data analytics directly on your data stored in Amazon S3 that allows you to query data without needing to copy and load it into a separate analytics platform or data warehouse. Amazon S3 is also compatible with AWS Analytics Services, Amazon Athena and Amazon Redshift Spectrum. You can use Amazon Athena to query S3 data with standard SQL expressions. Amazon Redshift Spectrum also runs SQL queries directly against data at rest in Amazon S3, and is more appropriate for complex queries and large data sets up to exabytes. You can also use S3 Select to retrieve subsets of object data instead of the entire object, which can be up to 5 terabytes in size. It is designed to increase query performance by up to 400% and reduce querying costs as much as 80%. Versioning is a means of keeping multiple variants of an object in the same bucket. Buckets can be in one of 3 states: unversioned, which is the default, versioning enabled, or versioning suspended. When versioning is suspended, it will suspend the creation of version ID for new objects but preserve all the existing object versions. Once you enable versioning, the combination of a bucket key and version ID uniquely identify each object. After the bucket is version enabled, it can never return to an unversioned state. You can, however, suspend versioning on that bucket. You can use versioning to preserve, retrieve, and restore every version of every object stored in your Amazon S3 bucket. Versioning-enabled buckets enable you to recover objects from accidental deletion or overwrite. If you delete an object it is not permanently deleted, Amazon S3 inserts a delete marker. If you overwrite an object, it results in a new object version in the bucket. You can restore the previous version as long as the object has not been deleted.
So again, just think of that last bit like your regular hard drive, right? So your regular hard drive, when you delete data, is not fully deleted, right? It just kind of sets it to be overwritten. So it's never fully deleted. That's why when they do forensics, they're able to retrieve deleted data, because if you don't wipe it properly, which I don't know, what is DoD standards now? I think DoD standard just something crazy. Hold on. Google is your friend. DoD hard drive deletion standards. There used to be a thing called was it Boot and Nuke? That used to do it to. That used to be able to wipe drives to stand the DoD standards. I think back then it was DoD standards was like eight times. Like you had to delete, you had to wipe it, you had to overwrite it 8 times before it was considered truly like overwritten and deleted. Yep. So 7. So it says, okay, so it says you could do 3 secure overwriting passes. However, it says the standard is remove paper and then press. Sorry, I'm printing. Sorry about that, y'all. Technical difficulties. I was trying to print out something while I was printing. Caught a paper jam. All right. My fault. I'm back. So yeah, DoD standards is 7 passes. So 8 passes, 7 or 8 passes. So anyway, no, not degauss or shredded. Like if you had to wipe a hard drive, like wipe it, it's 7 overwrite passes. So that means it has to wipe your entire hard drive at least 7 to 8 times. Oh man. Okay. All right. Anyway, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and try to wrap up this module, and then
Amazon
call
Simple
it for the
Storage
training.
Service, Amazon S3, Access Management. By default, all Amazon S3 resources, such as buckets and objects, are private. Only the resource owner, an AWS account that created it, can access the resource. The resource owner can optionally grant access permissions to others by writing an access policy. Amazon S3 offers access policy options that can be broadly categorized as resource-based policies and user policies. Resource-based policies are access policies that you attach to your resources, such as buckets and objects. Bucket policies and access control lists, ACLs, are resource-based policies. You can also authenticate certain types of data access using query string authentication and grant temporary access to others with time-limited URLs. User policies are access policies that you attach to users. Access can be granted to users using AWS IAM policies. You may choose to use resource-based policies, user policies, or some combination of these to manage permissions to your Amazon S3 resources. Access control list is a legacy access control mechanism. As a general rule, AWS recommends using S3 bucket policies, or IAM policies for access control. When Amazon S3 receives a request, it must evaluate all the access policies to determine whether to authorize or deny the request. First, let's look at resource-based policies. Access control lists. Each bucket and object has an access control list, or ACL, associated with it. Access control lists use an Amazon S3 specific XML schema. It defines which AWS accounts or groups are granted access and the type of access they have. When you create a bucket or an object, Amazon S3 creates a default ACL that grants the resource owner full control over the resource. You can use access control lists to grant basic read and write permissions to other AWS accounts. Bucket policies, written in JSON, are attached to an S3 bucket. It provides access permissions to the S3 bucket and all objects in it. Here is an example of a S3 bucket policy. This S3 bucket policy allows the principal, the root account, and the IAM user Alice under that account to perform any S3 operation. The wildcard asterisk character after the S3 in the action statement indicates that all S3 operations are allowed. You can perform S3 operations only on specific resources, as shown in the resource statement. In this case, only the S3 bucket with the name my bucket and all objects in it are allowed. As you can see, you can use the slash and asterisk after the bucket name to indicate all objects in the bucket. User policies control who has access to your Amazon S3 resources and is also written in JSON. You can use AWS Identity and Access Management, AWS IAM, to create users, groups, and roles in your account, and attach access policies to grant them access to Amazon S3. Let's look at an IAM policy example. Unlike bucket policies, an IAM policy does not require a principal element because the principal is by default the entity that the IAM policy is attached to. The first part of the policy specifies bucket-level permissions. It allows the list bucket action, so that applications can list all objects in the test bucket. The second part specifies object-level permissions. It allows put object, get object, and delete object actions so that applications can write, read, and delete any objects in the test bucket.
I'm gonna have to read that again. So, I just wanted. So what happened was I was getting just to kind of give a quick rundown of what's going on. Nah, no problem. Thanks for joining, Mr. Tanner. Again, if you want, please, if you're enjoying it, please like the page wherever it is you're watching, because we are streaming on multiple platforms. So like whatever it is, wherever it is you're watching, hit the bell for notifications. You can be notified. Just so you know, we are streaming on both our Alpha Cybersecurity as well as our Alpha Esports and Technology page. Reason being is because they have this gamified approach, and we are all about teaching the transferable skills that people have in video games and gaming that can also help them to get careers in tech as well. So that's kind of the idea. And honestly, like I said, I've kind of missed streaming and I wanted to get back to it. So I wanted to stream to both platforms. So what I was doing during this process, during the time when I'm like, sorry, so back in few years ago when I took this course the first time, I created my own study guide. It was about 50 pages. And I wanted to double check because after I was looking at that architect, that when I said the architect framework, I was like, I didn't believe it was there, and then I stopped. I'm like, wait, I do believe I do believe I actually did see it. And I was correct and incorrect at the same time. So I was correct that when I thought about it, when I second guessed myself and said, wait a minute, there was something about it, but instead of 6 pillars that it said now, it was 5 pillars. So that's the correction. So yeah. So anyway, sorry, I still said I have a paper jam, and I was trying to print out the rest of it. It's not cooperating with me. Okay, I'll just have to do that offline. All right, so yeah, like I said, so I did create like I had did a study guide back in 2021, 2022, for AWS. I might put it out if it's still relevant. We'll see. Because I remember I was going to then, and I
Amazon Simple
didn't.
Storage
I changed my mind.
Service, Amazon S3, USIAM, to create users,
Okay, so we did
groups,
that already. All right, cool. So yeah, so I kind of changed my mind after, and all right, so we did AWS, we did well architected, we did S3. All right, so we have our diagram steps. All right, okay, so simple storage service. We talked about that. Can be stored all types of data to retrieve. Okay, we did the S3 overview. In Amazon S3, any type of file and any metadata that describes the file is called an object. Game of Active Directory. Yeah, I don't know if I have version 2, but I did version 1. It's a pretty cool one. That's the one that Charles and I we used as a template, like a skeleton template, and then we kind of tried to build our own Active Directory environment as well. But yeah, it's definitely a good one if you want to learn Active Directory pen testing on a budget. Just for those who are asking, Ty just asked about this thing called GOAD V2. And that's for learning how to pen test Active Directory environments. So if you want to learn about network pen testing or infrastructure pen testing in Active Directory, that's a great resource to learn. It teaches you how. Not only does it teach you how to do it, not only does it teach you, but you're learning. You learn how to build. Um, you learn how to build it as well. So the person who created it, his name was Mayfly, and he has a GitHub repository. If you go to his GitHub, you may get some type of, and you may get some alerts about antivirus. Your antivirus might freak out and say that his stuff is risky, but don't. Like I said, it's pretty good. Where is it? Game of Active Directory. Game of Active Directory. But anyway, like I said, yeah, he has a really good. Honestly, he has a ton of resources that you can use. As a matter of fact, when I got back into pen testing Active Directory environments, he has a mind map, and I actually used the mind map to walk me through that Active Directory pen test that I was working on. So yeah, like I said, so yes, Game of Active Directory. is really cool. They call it's called Game of Active Directory because it's an Active Directory environment that's loosely based off of Game of Thrones. So you have different environments that are the essentially the Seven Kingdoms. Um, hey, look, Ty, look that's half the battle. That's half the battle. If you because if you know how to configure an Active Directory environment, you'll have a better understanding on those attacks as well. Okay, so S3 blah blah. Okay, so files and metadata is in S3 they're called objects, and then the objects are stored in containers, and the containers are called buckets. So items are objects. Objects are stored in buckets. Okay, the solution uses an S3 bucket to host a static website, and an Amazon S3, the static website can sustain any conceivable level of traffic at a very modest cost without the need to set up, monitor, or scale, or manage any web servers. Okay, along with an HTML file that support web page functionality, such as client-side scripts and style sheets or CSS, are uploaded to the S3 bucket. Any S3 bucket can be configured to host a static website. Okay, and then that is talked about in the more features that we just watched. When an S3 bucket is configured for website hosting, the bucket is assigned to a URL. When the requests are made to the URL, the S3 bucket returns the HTML file known as the root object that was set for the bucket. For others to access the S3 bucket or specific objects in it, permissions must be configured that allow the access. A bucket policy can be created to configure these permissions. So again, this is where we're getting into the configuration that I keep talking about from a security standpoint. You need to make sure that your policies and your access control lists and all of that shit, all of that stuff is configured and airtight, because if not, that's where the breaches that's where the breaches get interesting. A bucket policy defines who can access the bucket and what type of operations can be performed. The second part of that, you want to make sure that you're following permission practice of least privilege, so make sure that people don't have too much access or too much authorization on these. JSON. So again, things are written in JSON. So JSON format is basically uh, key pairs. So you have here and then the value. So you have the object or the effect. You see effect and allow, right? So they're usually written in these pairs. City residents visit the city web portal for beach wave information, which invokes a GET request to the portal of the URL. In the static web page, the initial root object is named index.html. Okay, so it does a GET request. So the residents are going to visit the website. The website hits the portal, and the portal is going to invoke a GET request. The GET request is going to pull the data from the bucket. The policies are going to check to make sure that you're supposed to have this access, and then it's gonna come back. So you're gonna retrieve that object, and then it's gonna receive that info. L Style, go ahead, man. Appreciate you joining. See you next time. Be safe. Okay, so now you want to rename the index HTML to waves.html and then update S3 bucket. Settings to the renamed root object. Again, just from a security standpoint, you just want to make sure you don't do index.html, but I mean, yeah. Okay, so we have the idea, right? So the residents want to visit the portal. The portal invokes a GET request. The GET request talks to the S3 bucket. The S3 bucket is going to check, or the policies. The S3 bucket is going to make sure that it's configured properly to check the policies, that you're not giving out too much information. And then once you get that access, it's going to retrieve the object that you requested here back through the portal, and it's going to give that info back to the residents. Okay.
This is the plan section. It provides an overview of the building tasks. You will build one solution in two parts.
Okay. All right, so review a bucket policy and to secure Amazon. And enable static website hosting. Okay, so highlight. So this is the bucket policy over here. And then we want to enable static hosting. So I'm assuming that's this and this. Okay, so we'll go ahead and hit practice.
This is the practice section. Use it to build the first part of the solution using the AWS console and image-based instructions. To begin building, allow browser pop-ups. Then launch the AWS console in a separate browser tab. Follow the steps to complete part 1 of the solution, then move to the do-it-yourself section. One more important note. The AWS console environment starts up and shuts down automatically with a temporary account. You should never use your personal AWS account in the Solution Center.
Okay. And that's smart, because what was happening was people were building their labs and either forgetting to turn off, shut them down or sign out, and they were getting ridiculous bills at the end of the month. Because again, you get billed based on your usage and how long that it stays on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and review the practice objectives. Click start to provision your environment. Open the AWS console to begin. Be sure to use the lab account. Follow the instructions. Okay, in this lab, you will review a bucket policy and enable static hosting. So we're going to go ahead and open up a console. Console is going to open up here. And we are going to share this tab now. So y'all should be able to see this screen. It says type resources with the / to focus on results on resources such as EC2 instances, S3 buckets, and more. So we'll go ahead and do just that. So it says we want to type in resources. Okay, so, right, it said / right? / resources. Come on, just learn how to spell, Davin. You got people watching. Why are you doing that to me right now? Was I supposed to also do it in? Okay. Okay, so you actually have to do exactly what it said. So it says quotation mark / resources. Okay. So now we need to focus on protected resources, AWS backup features. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. Review the account disclaimer. Okay. Step. Start. Ready. Management console. Sure. All right. So we brought up here. So we're in the resources. So now let's go S3. Cool. All right. So we're going to click S3. And again, just to make sure we are AWS Lab user and not my account. Enable common notifications for CloudWatch, EC2, Health, sure. You can now control your language, sure. All right. So now what does it say we do next? What's the next step? So we typed in S3, we opened that up, and then we went to the management console. Now it wants us to find the website bucket. So we did. That's that right there. All right, cool. All right. So now it says at the top of the page, we're going to highlight and copy the bucket name and then paste it into the text editor. You must use this bucket name in the later DIY section On the Objects tab, review the objects in the bucket. 5 files should be displayed. These files contain contents of the static web page. Local files can be uploaded into the S3 bucket using the Upload button. Choose and check the box to select text HTML. Click Actions to expand the drop-down menu. Choose Rename and then go to the next step. Okay, so it says there should be 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there is our text. So it says we do that, and then it said there should be a drop-down, right? In the actions. So we click this, and then we went to actions over here. And now it wants us to rename the object. All right, okay, so now we want to rename the object. And for the new object, we're going to call this error.html. So we're going to click this over here, hit error.html, and hit save changes. All right. All right, so now it says we need to go to the permissions tab. So we have that for the successfully renamed object. And now we're going to go to permissions. And here you'll see this is the JSON information. But it says, so we went to permissions. In the block public access bucket settings, review to ensure block all public access is set to off. Turning off block all public access is necessary for static web hosting through your S3 bucket. Okay, so we're going to do just that. So we have our permissions, and we're making sure that block all public access is set to off, which it is. And then we're going to scroll down to the bucket policy, which is here, which is what you see. So you have the version. This is a static. So the ID is a static web policy. The statement says the ID is the get object allow. The effect is to allow. So again, this is basically saying that you're setting access for them to you're allowing them to get an object from the bucket, from the S3 bucket. Okay. That's what this is essentially. So that's what this policy is saying. The policy is basically saying that you're allowing public access to get objects. You're allowing them to get objects. Okay. So S3 get object. So you're allowing them to get objects to the S3 bucket. All right. So by default, all Amazon S3 resources, buckets, objects, and related sub resources are set to private. Only the resource owner can access them. The resource owner can optionally grant permissions to others by writing the access policy. So again, if you look here, you can make it as granular as possible. You can say block public access and objects granted through new access control list, through any access control list, through a new public bucket, through any public bucket, or you can actually make other changes if you wanted to. But for the sake of this, because we're doing a static website, we're going to go ahead and allow it. All right, so in the bucket policy editor, we're going to review the policy, which is what we did already. The policy allows public access to the S3 bucket. Yep, so that's we did all of that already. So we talked about that. We talked about what the policy does. So again, this is you allowing people or allowing the public to get objects from the S3 bucket. So action, get object from the S3 bucket. So now we're going to go into the properties tab. And we're going to need to make some changes to the properties. We're going to scroll down to the static website hosting, and we're going to click edit. So we have to find, nope, here it goes right here. Static website hosting. We're going to hit edit, and we're going to enable. And then we're going to host a static website. In the index document, we're going to type in index.html. So we're going to host a static website. We have that here, and then it's going to be called index. Learn how to type, Davin. Index.html. And then the same thing with the error with that text document we created before. So error.html. And then let's see if there's going to be any redirections. Nope, no redirects. So we're going to go ahead and hit save. And now we need to make sure that when the static website hosting is set, that we're ensuring the hosting set is to S3 bucket hosting, right? And then it should give us URL website bucket east 1. So if we click that, I'm sorry, I'm not sharing that. So if we click that and we share this tab now, you'll see we have our beach wave conditions. So different hours of the day will show you the different wave conditions. Okay, so now we have successfully done the practice run. Right, so we've done the practice run. So now we are going to have to go back and do it ourselves.
Your self section. You must build part 2 of your solution, then validate it. Read the hints on the left panel, then build part 2 of your solution using the same AWS console environment. Use the validation field to confirm functionality. If your solution is correct, you can choose Exit to collect your rewards. To replay the tutorials, select the question mark icon at the top left. That's it for now. Good luck building.
Okay. All right, so we need to go ahead and let's close out our previous tabs. Now we're going to launch another AWS one, and we're going to share, and we're going to go through the whole process again. All right, so we need to rename the index HTML to waves.html. All right, so we need to find that. So first things first, we went, and since we were recently visiting the S3 bucket, it should be already there. Remember, it was here in the website bucket. So now we need to rename index HTML to waves. So we're going to click that, and we are going to go to actions. I think that's what we did before. Yep, rename the object. And now this is waves.html, and we will save the changes. And now I said we need to validate, paste or type the validation criteria below. So the bucket name would be website bucket. We need to copy this. Now let's just come over here to show you. So that I need to validate. So I just paste and hit validate. It's going to validate it. Validating. Yes, we created a static website, renamed it. Okay, so now return. Fantastic. Is that it? No, that's not it. Let's double check. All right, so anyway, let's go back here. I don't think that was it. Was that all I had to do? You gave me almost an hour and 20 minutes, and that's all I had to do. Okay, so rename. All right, so basically, if we follow the steps from before, we renamed the index.html to waves.html, and then we went to the properties. We scrolled all the way down here, and then we went to static website hosting. Make sure I didn't skip anything. Right? Nope. Okay. So then we did our static website hosting. We hit edit. Make sure that static hosting is enabled. We did host a static website. So don't we need, so there shouldn't be an index HTML anymore, right? It should be waves.html. Shouldn't we have to change that? Why not? It's a lab environment. Let's mess around with it. So we do waves.html. We'll hit save changes. Right? And then it should give us our URL here. So if we click that and we do that, and now we share it, and there is our website again. Okay, cool. All right. So I felt like there were things missing, right? So anyway, like I said, so that's pretty much it. Um, where let's see, for old time's sake, where are we? All right. So yeah, that's it, I guess, for this one, right? Because if we go back here, we validated, we renamed the index, and double checked it. All right. So yeah, we're done. So click exit to give the good news. So now we have to click the icon over Mayor Jack to deliver your assignment. Oh, so I think thanks for providing a quick and effective solution. You're welcome. The beach crowd is returning. Yes, the beach is back. I am thinking of adding a lighthouse to the pier. Help me choose a style. What do y'all think, y'all? Let's see. What option? 1, 2, or 3? You know what? I'll do 3. We'll do option 3. And we'll go ahead and collect. And again, let's do that again. Oh, see, we leveled up. Okay. So now it says you've reached a new builder level. Builder level is increased to level 2. We'll close. We unlock drone captures. So Zap Blue drones to get AWS service cards. Use service cards to complete architecture challenges. Okay. Side quest. Sure. Congratulations. We got our gems. We got our customization. How satisfied? Sure, we'll give you 5 stars. Because we like learning in the form of games. All right. So if you'd like to revisit, click open knowledge library to try it. Okay. So if we wanted to do that, okay, we could check our progress. We have our badges, we have our knowledge library, tournaments, and then challenges. All right. And then over here says what? Taking a cloud practitioner certification exam soon. AWS, you can prep for a virtual escape room. Okay. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. Looks like the next mission is over here, but we're going to do the mission another day. So tomorrow I do have a class I have to teach in the evening, so I may do a stream earlier in the day. And then after and then get to teaching. If not, then I can also come back Wednesday. So So yeah, so if y'all like the live stream Q&A thing that we're doing, just let me know in the chat. And like I said, I'll keep it going. If not, or not if not, or you can just kind of watch, you can replay the video, or you can replay the VOD when it gets uploaded. But I think that is it for tonight. I thought I was gonna possibly do some gaming, but it's 7:30. Um I don't know what I don't know. I might eh. Yeah, no, I'm gonna probably, relax for a little bit. But like I said, this was interesting. I like it so far. Um and hopefully y'all enjoyed it as well. So that is it, but that is it for tonight. Again, gonna try to keep this thing going. So again, if you enjoy the stream, you can support the stream in many ways. You can like the channel, subscribe to the channel wherever it is you're watching. You can click the bell for notifications so you can be notified when I come online. You can also up here where support the stream, that is a link to buy me a coffee. You can do that. It's as little as $5 to support the stream that way. If you are on the Alpha Cybersecurity YouTube channel, that is you can also do super chats as well, if you would like to do that. All of it is appreciated. It's not necessary, but it's greatly appreciated. The goal is to continue to kind of just bring this type of content, as well as the gaming stuff and things that we're doing online. If you are watching on the Alpha Esports and Technology page, or if you're watching an Alpha Cybersecurity, also be sure to check out Alpha Esports and Technology. That's where we do a lot of our other stuff. Like we just did a Mario Kart tournament Saturday. We had some audio issues, so we just kind of let them play. So you kind of hear the talking in the background, but we didn't have the play-by-play for the shoutcasting services. But like I said, we'll have that stuff going. We have different tournaments. We have a Smash Brothers tournament coming up this weekend, and then also we have our Overwatch team that we're trying to get some more exposure and to get into some scrimmages against some other local schools, colleges, and organizations. So please support that as well. It's my first co-ed team. If you've been following, we've been trying to build a community, safe space for gamers of all backgrounds, and we were able to launch our first co-ed team. So if you support, if you like games, you like Overwatch, you just check them out and give them, show them some love. I'm going to break off now, and I'm going to review some stuff before I take my behind to bed. But again, thank y'all for tuning in. And like I said, I am teaching tomorrow from about 5 to 8 or 5 to about 7:30. So I don't know if I'm going to stream. If I do stream, it might be before that. If not, I'll just wait till Wednesday. But I'll let y'all know. And again, click the bell. So if for some reason you don't see it on social media, you'll at least be notified when I go live. All right. So again, thank y'all for joining. I will see y'all later. Have a good night and be safe. You know what's crazy is that they got rid of all of my other stuff, and I don't know where everything is. All right, no, for real, y'all. Y'all have a good night, and I'll check y'all later.